Hi, people of the Philippines and people of the world. Hit the button below. And you will be subscribing to the Boy Abunda Talk channel on YouTube. Let's keep talking. Magandang gabi Pilipinas and magandang gabi sa ating mga kababayan sa lahat ng parte ng mundo. Welcome to the Boy Abunda Talk channel. And tonight, we're going to talk about our take on the recently concluded Miss Universe na ginanap po kaninang umaga sa Florida, USA, kung saan pumasok po ang ating pambato, Rabia Mateo, sa top 21. But I'm not going to be alone. I am with a very special co-host and some very special guests who are experts in the field of pageantry. And we have, of course, an international winner. So right now, I'd like you to meet my very, very special co-host, Kisses Delavin. Kisses?
Hi, Tito Boy.
Hi. Were you surprised? Were you surprised when Mom told you that I was inviting you to co-host tonight's show?
Yes, Tito Boy, na-surprised ako. But I'm really glad to be listening to the pageant experts. I feel like I have so much to be learned. I have so much to learn tonight. So
Okay.
I'm so excited.
Kisses, napanood mo yung pageant kanina?
Yes, Tito Boy, nagising talaga ako ng maaga.
Pareho tayo. What are your initial thoughts about the pageant? I mean, random thoughts about Rabia, about the pageant, about the other contestants, about lahat ng nakita mo. I mean, initially lang. Ano ang mga thoughts mo? Your take?
Yung una ko pong naisip is na I'm so excited kasi this is a unique time to have this pageant in COVID time. But I was very glad kasi Tito Boy, parang maraming topic and issues na na-bring up dun sa mga question and answer, which is very up to the minute. So I was very glad. And I like how happy Rabia looked. Yeah.
Okay. All right. And who was your strongest candidate aside from Rabia nung nanonood ka?
Nung nanonood po ako, kami ni Mami, na-touch ako nung sinabi ni Miss Brazil, yung about sa mental health. I felt like it went straight to my heart. So I really appreciated that. But their answers were very well. It was good. Sobrang saya lang manood.
Doon sa top 5, nung natawag ng top 5, who did you think was going to win?
Oh, Tito Boy, yung sinabi ni Peru, that was a very personal statement. So that was very brave of her. But yeah, like I said, I really liked Brazil's statement about mental health and yeah, also Peru's statement on sexual harassment. So
earlier on, when we were meeting with our experts, sabi ko, wow, I was really proud of Miss Australia. So Miss Australia pala ay 5 lang, but I was told by Ameer that she's very bright. Napakatalino daw. And dati kasi, ang pagkakaalam ko, pag mas maliit ka sa 5'4", I can be wrong, no? Hindi ka nakakapasok sa mga beauty pageants. Tama ba ako, Kisses? Sa pagkakaalam mo?
I thought so also, Tito Boy, pero I really liked Miss Australia because when she speaks, it feels like there's so much energy, and she's so comfortable speaking. So I like that about her.
Okay. What did you learn? I mean, after watching the pageant?
Tito Boy, I feel like I learned, like you said earlier, about owning your story. Because when you go out there in the pageant world, when you step on stage, it's like, this is me. This is who I am. And you're standing in front of thousands of millions of people watching, and it's your story at the end of the day. It's your story to tell. And when you smile, you're smiling with all the flaws and all the hardships you've been through in life, and you're confident. Not despite of the things you've experienced and things you've felt, but because of them, you're confident. So that's what I learned.
Wow. Thank you for saying that, Kisses. Ako madalas ko sinasabi to, not just in pageantry, but I always say stay true to your core because your story is strong. Because that's your truth. That's why I like the Maya Angelou, I come as one, I stand as 10,000. Because when you're on stage, you're not alone. Kasama mo ang iyong mga kababayan, kasama mo ang iyong ancestors, your parents, your grandparents, and they're brave, courageous people. When you smile on their behalf. So hindi ka kakabahan dahil alam mong marami kang kasama. So I love that quote of Maya Angelou. I come as one, I stand as 10,000. Mamaya, Kisses, as our guests will be sharing with us their thoughts, pwede ka magtanong ha. You can comment, you can agree, you can disagree, we can ask questions. Ako din, I'm very excited.
But experts kayo lahat eh. So I'm just really lucky to be here. To be hearing your thoughts.
I really thought about you because you have been asked by organizers to join beauty pageants, and then kahit sa atin, dati sa ABS-CBN, pag napapag-usapan ng Q&A, hindi pwedeng hindi pag-usapan si Kisses. So you're very close to that space, di ba? Sabi ko, why not Kisses? And it should be fun. At pareho tayo excited dahil pareho naman tayong hindi expert dito sa beauty pageant. Okay. So, muli, Mommy, if you're watching, maraming salamat. Kisses, thank you for being here. Hanggang dulo ng palabas ay kasama kita. You can ask, you can interject, you can opinionate, lahat pwede. So right now, I'd like you, ladies and gentlemen, to meet our first guest, Ameer Gamama, who is the international correspondent for Missosology. Ameer, maraming salamat.
Hi Kisses and hi Tito Boy. Sobrang happy ako ngayon na nakita na naman kita after Gazini and Catriona interview sa The Bottom Line. Na-miss ko yun actually. I was actually expecting Tito Boy na sana magkaroon din kay Rabia.
Yeah, I too was hoping. Pero hayaan natin, Ameer, sa mga darating na taon, mangyayari na naman yan dahil naapektuhan talaga tayo lahat ng pandemya. But sige lang, this too shall pass. Ameer, Kisses, I'd like to call in our next guest, who is also another expert, a pageant vlogger on YouTube and Facebook. We're talking about Tita Lavinia of Titas of Pageantry. Tita Lavinia. Hi, Tita.
Good evening po. Hello po. Good evening, Tito Boy. Good evening, Kisses. Good evening, Ameer. Thank you for having me back. At good evening sa mga kasama namin sa Titas of Pageantry, even yung partner ko si Tita Belay. Thank you again for the opportunity to talk about beauty pageants, particularly Miss Universe tonight.
Alam mo, Tita and Ameer, I didn't, kasi hindi ako masyado of course, I have a YouTube channel and I have a Facebook fan page. Pero hindi ako masyado ma-stalk, maikot, ika nga sa social media. But do you realize your power to influence kayong dalawa? Kanina nga si Boom sabi sa akin, alam mo magaling ang batang yan. Sabi ko si Ameer kilala kasi natin because you would guess. How do you realize that power that you guys can actually influence and sway people's thinking, lalo na pagdating sa pageantry?
Well, ako Tito Boy, talagang ini-enjoy ko kasi since bata ako talaga, gusto ko yung pageant talaga. As in, since Susmita Sen, the time of Susmita Sen, talagang nanonood ako ng beauty pageant. Kaya parang passion ko na yon at gusto ko yon. So, natutuwa ako pag pageant ang pinag-usapan kaysa trabaho ko.
Ikaw, Tita?
Ako po, Tito Boy, in all honesty, naiintindihan ko na po. When I started this, alam ko naman po yung position ko. I started out as a fan and then an enthusiast. Pero trinabaho ko rin po kasi talaga yung gusto kong magstay dito. So I understand, bandang huli, nakikita ko yung numbers eh. I'm not oblivious to that. So sa akin na lang, ang gusto ko lang i-maintain is how we started with Titas of Pageantry na medyo on the naughty side, medyo on the provocative side. Ayoko pa rin pong tanggalin yun kahit na meron akong medyo established na YouTube channel ngayon and established na page on Instagram. Ayokong mawala yun kasi doon kami nag-start eh.
Tita, yun yung sinasabi kong core. Yun yung sinasabi kong storya. That's where core is. Stay true to your core. And hindi ka kasi pwede magkwento ng kwento ng iba. You have to, yung sinasabi lang, own your stories. natural. You have to own your story because you own your story. And klaro yung brand mo kasi, Tita Den, yung brand equity, the brand personality. Paano ang pakiramdam pag nasasabihang magaling ka? Katulad itong si Bong, may partner. Magaling
Salamat
magaling
po.
ang batang yan, ha?
Salamat po
Tita,
talaga.
I'm sorry. I wanted to say like Ameer, kahit hindi ito profesyon ni Ameer, but Tita, you put in a lot of hard work kasi eh. You
Yes,
put
I
in a
do
lot of
po.
hard work. Mm-mm.
Ang background ko po kasi talaga on international studies is mostly research. So, ang gusto ko pong atake dito sa beauty pageantry na pinasok ko is the chronicling of events, of
Oo.
details, of like clothes, who wore what, who was the designer, what was the make of the dress. So parang I want it to be more informative. That's why ayoko pong matanggal sa akin if I'm a little negative, I'm a little critical. Kasi parang hindi ho tayo mabubuhay sa positive thinking. Hindi rin tayo mabubuhay kung sakaling puro papuri ang gagawin natin. So sa sarili ko po, tanggap ko yan. Hindi ho ako apektado kaagad ng negative comments kasi alam ko yung distansya ko sa social media. Alam ko rin yung real life ko with like my cats. So, tamang
get that.
distansya po yung tayo.
I get that, Tita. People may equate conversation with echo chambering, but ako, I'm a teacher of public speaking, I'm a teacher of communications. Ang parati kong sinasabi is don't echo my opinion. And the more, well, for lack of a better word, the more bipolar a discussion is, meaning andito ko sa isang side, andito ko sa isang side, mas enlightened yung nanonood. Pero, Tita, culturally kasi, Kisses, culturally, lalo na yung sa henerasyon namin, we were not encouraged to, to disagree. We were not encouraged to disagree because disagreeing is impolite. Noong kinalauna, na-realize ko that when there is a different opinion from my opinion, napipilitan ako, I am pushed to thinking, why does Tita think the way she does? And why do I think the way I think? So mas lumalawak. Kung si Tita is into chronicling, Ameer, ikaw, saan yung brand mo, in the pageant world?
Actually, Tito Boy, nag-start kasi talaga ako mag-cover ng pageant lang, like correspondent. Like I took pictures, photos, interviews sa mga candidates. Yun talaga yung ginagawa ko. Honestly, ang work ko, day job ko is sobrang require ng so much effort because I do work as a state auditor. So, ang pageant naging distressing ko siya. Sobrang ini-enjoy ko talaga siya. Sobrang laki ng tulong sa akin. So, the first time kasi I cover pageant, that was on 2013 in Bali, Indonesia, when Megan Young won. Doon ko lalong napamahal yung pageant sa akin. Alam mo yung parang every time na ako yung nagtutok pictures for the candidates, nakakasalamuha ko sila, nakakausap ko sila in person. So alam ko talaga yung kumbaga kung ano yung preparation, anong ganap sa loob ng pageant. Nakikita ko yon. Kasi meron kaming access doon. So every time na I cover local and international pageants. So talagang pag sa international, sobrang excited ako kasi kahit na ayaw mong maging bias kay Philippines, hindi mo maiwasan. Alam mo yun? Hindi mo maiwasan eh. Yung halimbawa, kukuha ka ng photos ni Miss Philippines lagi, interview mo siya lagi. Minsan parang napaisip mo, parang bias ko na. Pero hindi maiwasan. Doon talaga tayo. I mean, yes, di ba? So, doon ako nag-start ito, boy, sa pag-cover ng pageant. Nag-take ng photos, nag-interview live. And then such time na parang nakuha ko yung formula ng siguro hindi naman perfect. Nakukuha ko lang yung formula kung ano yung hinahanap ng organization. Sometimes ganun. Like this day, ako nahulaan ko na si Mexico ang manalo. I posted that on my Facebook. So pinost ko yon ng Mexico. Kasi nga during the time na nakita ko siya, same feeling yung nangyari sa akin nung nakita ko si Iris, yung Miss Universe na galing sa France, 2016. Tama ba ako? Yeah, 2016.
Yes.
Yung na-interview namin sa Mrs. Rogie Beauty Talks, itong si Miss Mexico, talagang nakitaan ko siya ng ganong klaseng vibe. So sabi ko, ito na yon. Parang since then, kasi hindi ko pa siya nakilala person. Ang kagandahan kasi na ginawa namin sa Mrs. Rogie Beauty Talks, this is a platform na kung saan nakikilala pa namin ng mas higit yung babae or candidates Kasi po, di ba hindi wala naman tayo sa closed door interview, hindi naman siya naka-broadcast, hindi naka-live. Pero nung nagkaroon kami ng platform to interview candidates, and we are lucky because out of 74, siguro na interview namin is 25 candidates from different countries. So doon ko nakilala lalo yung mga candidates. So yung sinasabi ko, Tito Boy, pag nandun ka sa loob ng pageant, sa mismong organization ng pageant, makikilala mo or alam mo kung ano yung gusto inahanap
Okay.
ng organization.
All right. Maraming salamat, Ameer. Listening to both of them, Kisses, anong naglalaro sa isipan mo?
I'm so amazed, Tito Boy, because
Naka-amaze, no?
yes, Tito Boy, kasi hearing their thoughts about these things, their opinion is very important because they study these kinds of things, and like Mr. Ameer said, he has a feel for it. So if you really are there, if you really are there, then you just know who's the one that's most confident with who she is, and that's nice.
Okay. And we will have more stories, Kisses. We'll have more stories because right now I'm about to call Miss International 2016, my very dear friend, dear friend, she's family, Miss Kylie Verzosa.
Hey everyone!
Hi, Kylie. Kisses, Ameer, and Tita Lavinia. Kylie, thank you. Thank you for doing this.
Hi.
Kylie, wala kaming karanasan take into what it is to be on a stage. To be on a stage, being seen by millions of people, and you're made to walk, you're made to project, you're made to speak, you're made to do some of the most, because this is not natural. I want to say unnatural because you are in an unnatural, platform. Diba? How is that experience?
It's definitely nerve-wracking. It's parang to gain confidence, you have to have the knowledge na you're prepared for it.
Mm-hmm.
And to be prepared, you have to do everything within your power.
Mm-hmm.
Na gawin lahat ng makaya mo. So preparation was really key to getting that confidence on stage. Nakakaba siya. I think it really helps to know what you have to look forward to. So parang the candidate also has to be smart. A beauty queen has to be smart. A beauty queen has to be able to decipher. Kailangan niya na parang dapat mabilis siya mag-isip. If this doesn't work, I'm going to go with plan B, plan C. So
that would require, Kylie, a lot of presence to be able to do that. Tama ka, you have to be quick, you have to be smart. Pero yung kaba, paano mo manage if you managed it? I mean, because I think you managed it wonderfully. How did you manage the jitters, even the doubts and the fears on stage?
Siguro when I'm on stage, I take time to feel out the stage. Kasi I make sure I'm not late. I take time to feel out the whole stage. Gusto ko maaga ako. Gusto ko nararamdaman ko yung stage. Alam ko na kung saan ako pupwesto. Alam ko na kung pose, mag-establish. So nakapwesto na yung mga gagawin ko on the stage. That helps me. That helps me relax.
Okay, Kylie, but when something goes wrong, nakaplano ka, 1, 2, 3. When things don't turn out the way you expected them to be, what do you do?
I breathe. I try
You
to
breathe.
I really breathe. Kasi when your nerves are up here, Tito, mahirap na talaga gumalaw. Mahirap up here, parang
At mahirap makarinig, no, Kylie? Mahirap makarinig when you're very nervous.
you're not, yes. And parang you don't know na what to do pag nandito na siya. So parang, you just really need to exhale.
Okay.
Being present in the moment na dun ka talaga maganda when you're really, in the moment.
Okay, I get that. Oh, I get that. Kisses, one time we talked about it. The Power of Now, of course, it's a book by Eckhart Tolle. I think a lot of beauty contests, especially those who are dreaming to get into the international stage, that book would help. Now is very important. Sa public speaking, meron kaming exercise niyan eh. That you concentrate on the question, just now. Ang exercise namin, Tita Jan, Ameer, yung spell talk. I did that with Catriona and I think Pia. Yung you spell, you know, H-O-W, how are you? You spell it. And when you spell it, you don't think about a question before or how you're going to answer that. You're just focused on the now. Because you don't want to miss the question. H-O-W-A-R-E-Y-O-U. So when you're listening to the letters, how are you? Hindi ka nag-iisip kung ano yung tanong dati, kung anong isasagot mo. You're focused just on, you're present in the question. So after the question, doon ka lang hihiwalay. So yung sinasabi mo, Kylie, your discourse about being present is really an excellent tip for, you know, fledgling and upcoming beauty queens. And we'll be talking more about it. Napaka-interesante nito. But right now, siyempre kaninang umaga po mga kaibigan, ay ginanap ang 69th Miss Universe sa Florida, sa Hard Rock, tama ko? Hard Rock Cafe, right? It was hosted by Hard Rock, right? No, there's a cafe after Hard Rock, na sigurado. And then
Hard Rock Hotel po.
Hard Rock Hotel. Okay, yung gitara sa Florida. It's called The Other Hollywood. Tita, you have to correct me here, huh? It was hosted
Seminole po.
I'm sorry?
Seminole Hard Rock Hotel.
Seminole. Okay, Hard Rock Hotel. That was the word I was trying to get from my executive producer. Sabi ko, what's that word before Hard Rock? Hindi ko maintindihan. It was hosted by, of course, Mario Lopez and Olivia Culpo, who was Miss Universe of 2012. Janine was the first runner-up. And then they were joined by the three co-hosts. Sino-sino yun? Sila...
Miss Universe from
Paulina Vega.
Paulina Vega. And then, who was the other one?
Chesley Christ.
Chesley, right. Chesley Christ was Miss USA.
And then
the other one?
Demi Tebow.
Okay. Demi Lee, who is from South Africa. So, okay. Uumpisa natin kay Ameer. Ameer, we would like to listen to your points and then you raise 3 points and then magtatanong kami, agree kami, disagree kami sa'yo para mas maliwanagan natin.
Okay, dito, boy.
Let's start with your first point.
Regarding sa...
Kahit ano.
Kahit ano. Okay.
About Rabia, about the contest, about everything about the pageant.
Tito Boy, sobrang love ko kasi ang national costume. Kasi pag sinabi mong national costume presentation, you will be able to learn history from the country, yung kanilang cultural heritage, and then it speaks about the history of the country. So yun, may comment ako doon. Kasi kami, in our mythology, we did a write-up or we did an article, we're saying na sana there could be a regulation na sana magkaroon ng limit sa weight, sa timbang, sa size ng national costume. Kasi para sa akin kasi sometimes nagiging dangerous na siya sa candidates. I'm talking not just in Miss Universe but to the whole sa ibang pageant din. Pero without sacrificing or infringing the freedom of artistic the artistic freedom of the designer. Dapat nandoon pa rin 'yon. Pero sana magkaroon ng konting regulation as to the size, as to the weight. Basta nandoon pa rin yung yung gustong ipalabas ng designer lang. Kasi sometimes nahihirapan yung mga contestants, nakakasakit, or even sa costumes, nakakaproblema yan sila for sure sa airport. Kaya doon pa lang sana magkaroon. Ako, suggestion ko lang na magkaroon sana ng regulation.
Okay. Ameer, I will react. I agree. In one of my commentaries, I was asked before the contest, sabi ko sana, and it has gone beyond the concept of costume para sa akin. Kasi kung national costume ang pinag-uusapan at kwento ng kultura, ngayon nakikita, umu-OA na para sa akin. Ang tama ka, you use the word dangerous, pero yung biglang pagsampa sa entablado, may bahay na lalabas, may bundok, may aeroplano, may itlog, parang para sa akin, this is not a production design, a parade. This is not a set design parade. This is a costume parade. And you're very right. Ako I agree na sana merong rule, may regulation ng Miss Universe or any other beauty pageant na sana'y ang national costume, if it is inspired by the national costume or it is a conceptual adaptation, sana yung naisusuot damit na nailalakad na hindi ikamamatay ng contestant. Ako agree ako sa iyo doon. I will go straight to Rabia. With Rabia, a lot of people, I read some comments, some friends commented kasi she had problems with the headgear. This is designed po by my very, very, very good friend, the late Gathy Cole. Ako naman, baligtad, no? Nung nakita ko siya, kanina may sinasabi ka, Amir, na hindi talaga may iwasan yung bias pag kinukunan ng literato. During the costume parade, sabi ko, ba't ang camera ni Rabia, television ang aking orientation eh. Why is the camera of Rabia dito? Ba't hindi frontal? Bakit hindi ganon? Etc. Ang dami kong questions doon. But I liked it. I liked her walk. It was very strong. I liked her channeling the Victoria's Secret in the beginning. I liked that whole costume. I liked it even without the headgear. Medyo flat ang buhok. But I like the lightness, the levity. I like the lightness of Rabia. As a matter of fact, uunahan ko na kayo, doon ko lang siya nakita na nagkaroon ng fun. She had fun in that walk na hindi ko nakita in the prelims, na hindi ko nakita sa pageant, even when she was smiling dun sa casual parade. Pero in the national costume, parang she let go a bit. Yun ang aking comment. Anyway.
Ako naman, Tito Boy. Yes, I also love Rabia's costume. Dinala niya talaga yung national costume niya. Wala akong question doon. Sobrang galing niya doon sa pag-presentation niya. Sobrang okay yung presentation niya. Yun nga, tama kayo. Minsan, yung cameraman, hindi na yung tama yung angle. Parang walang synchronizing between the candidates and yung
At saka Amir, ang ganda ng sapato. Amir, ang ganda ng sapatos. Ganda-ganda talaga
Tito Boy. Sobra.
Was it done by Jojo, guys? Ang ganda-ganda.
No. I think
Neric po.
Sino?
Neric
Tita?
Neric
Ang ganda.
Neric
Ganda nung sapatos. And then I like the way, she Victoria's Secret. Huwag na tayo, let's not pretend. Ganda.
Actually, Tito Boy, kaya gusto ko rin siya kasi something unique na bago sa mata ko. Kasi, karamihan sa mga Philippines natin, naka-Pilipiniana naman talaga, which is also the most common one. Kaya something unique yung kay Rabi. I like it actually. Kaya sabi ko nga, medyo lang talaga. Minsan yung ilaw madilim.
Tama. At saka nandito ang camera sa gilid.
Yung angle.
At nailakad niya, Amir. Nailakad niya.
Yes,
Hindi siya nagkarga ng bahay o kaya ng bundok ng Mount Everest o di kaya. No, really. I didn't feel uncomfortable about, the wings. Diba?
Tito Boy,
okay, let's go.
May nabasa lang akong joke kanina na sabi, si Malaysia daw nagdala ng dressing room. Pero si Myanmar, ang dinala lang daw ni Myanmar papel, pero powerful.
Powerful. Powerful talaga siya. Okay, let's go to your next point, Amir.
Siguro yung sa production.
Okay.
Yun nga, kanina pag-usapan na rin yung mga lighting, ganyan. Actually, super okay naman sa akin yung kanyang production number. As in, bubbly, maganda yung music, maayos siya. Pero yun nga din, siguro feeling ko, Tito Boy, nagkaroon lang ng bagong production team or if not, nagbawas sila kasi nga pandemic, baka may protocols. Kaya kulang siguro ng tao as to kung sino yung sa cameraman. Parang feeling ko kulang kasi hindi tama yung sinabi mo kanina na yung angle hindi nakukuha yung tama. And I believe ito yung mga siguro from previous pa ng mga production team. Siguro lang talaga nagbawas ng tao because there are protocols na need to be followed.
Okay, ang comment ko naman in the context of Rabia, not in the context, pagdating kay Rabia, when it goes to Rabia, parang I had a feeling, I don't know, pagka Pinoy ko lang or because I was rooting for her, sabi ko, the shots of Rabia were not flattering. The shots of Rabia were quick. I may be unfair, I may be biased, pero yun yung tingin ko na parang, ba't hindi makapture yung essence nung bata? Yun lang, nagtatanong ako tuwing siya nang tinatawag. Parang I was expecting more, parang ganon.
Actually, tama ka,
Okay.
Tito Boy. Actually, tama ka doon. Kaya nga siguro natin napansin yung medyo ganong problema. Kasi nga po, si Rabia, hindi natin napansin na tama yung mga anggulong kinukuha sa kanya.
Correct. Okay. Let's go to your third point, Ameer.
To my third point, yung Q&A, Tito Boy. Gusto ko kasi yung Q&A. I've learned kasi that the topics was given to the candidates prior to the finals night. So, nung nakita ko yon, sabi ko, ito yung mga pinag-usapan namin sa Missology Beauty Talks. Kasi meron kaming mga Q&A at yung ganong eksena, Tito Boy, na kukuha ka ng number. Kasi niloloko namin sila na, okay, imaginary you have a bowl there beside you, you get the number, and you give us your number. So, bubunot yan sila, sabihin na number 7, number 4. Most of the questions being asked, natanong namin yun sa candidates, especially kay Peru. Because nakausap kasi namin si Peru. And also si Mexico, yung nasa top 5 tatlo doon, nakausap ko. Mexico, Peru, and which other one? Meron pang isa, nakawala sa isip ko.
Brazil, Dominican Republic,
India.
or India?
India, sorry, India.
India.
Tama.
India.
Okay.
India, Tito.
Ako naalala ko pa, Ameer.
Yes, oo nga. Sa dami kasi. Sa dami kasi. What I'm trying to say, Tito Boy, isa din, actually, mahirap din yung tanong.
Mahirap.
Para sa akin, mahirap. Oo, mahirap talaga. And
Ameer, ang aking tanong lang, marami ang magtatanong ngayon, ano yung alam na nila? Kasi dalawa yun di ba? Yung Q&A at saka yung final statements.
No, actually,
Lahat
Tito
pareho
Boy,
ba?
yes. Ang pagkakalam ko they were given a certain topic. Topic lang naman, not necessarily the question.
Clarification lang, Ameer. Clarification lang, Ameer. Alam ba nila halimbawa 10 topics or alam na nila kung specifically ano ang kanila?
Hindi po, Tito Boy. Lahat yun binigay sa lahat ng contestants. 8.
Okay.
Alam ko,
Alright.
8 topics. 8 yun. If you allow me, I can read all those topics. I have here in my list. Actually, kumalat naman yun, Tito Boy, kaya hindi ako takot din.
Kaya mamaya aaralin natin ang Q&A. Pag iisa-isahin natin
First,
at ang mga sagot.
isa sa topic, Tito Boy, is yung changing beauty standards. Climate
Okay.
change, free speech and the right to protest, gender-based violence, global poverty, mental health, refugee crisis, and role of the United Nations. Yun po yung mga topics na
Okay.
lumabas.
Iisa-isahin natin. Iisa-isahin natin yan mamaya, Ameer, at titingnan natin kung nasagot nila. Okay?
Si Kylie, tayong sagot ni Kylie.
Kylie, okay. Kylie, may tanong ako. Is that a practice in beauty contests na yung mga topics more or less yung coverage ay i-distribute kaagad sa, let's say, the finalists or the contestants?
No, Tito Boy. This is one of the first times na bigay nung pageant ahead of time yung topics for final statements. So, nung lumabas yun, sabi ko, ay, wow! May chance or opportunity yung girl to study beforehand. And to study beforehand
Right.
questions. And I think it's such an advantage for the girls. Pero they have to know na sana alam nila na advantage pag-aralin na nila beforehand.
Pero alam mo, Kylie, that can be double-edged, ha? You have to be as bright as Kylie Verzosa to be in control. You know why? Pag may 8 topics ka na nasa isip mo at sinasagot mo, that can be more confusing, and that can create more anxiety as compared to when you stand and you're totally a blank canvas. Kasi you're trying to hit the note eh. Ano ba yung gusto kong sabihin dito sa climate change? Ano ba yung gusto kong sabihin dito?
Pero Tito Boy, kasi these topics, ito na talaga yung mga pinag-aaral
Are common. Yeah.
Yung,
pageant candidates. And they're not unfamiliar topics na hindi namin pinag-aaral. Go through all these training pa lang, studying what you think kaya yung sasagutin ko dito pag tinanong sa akin to. So, more or less, these aren't unfamiliar topics for a candidate, supposedly, for the girl.
I understand that. As a matter of fact, Kylie, meron ding pagsagot dyan na how do you call that? May templated answer din yan eh. Halimbawa, climate change, no? There's a way to handle that. You know, we're talking about the fires in the Amazon. We're talking about the melting of the ice. We're talking about carbon emission. and you go to Greta Thunberg and you say, how dare us not take care of this planet? In any way you will answer a climate change question, pwede mong i-tweak into the answer eh. Oo,
Yeah.
may pwedeng ganun. Kisses, before I go to Tita, nung napapanood mo kanina, Kisses, naalala mo yung pinakamahirap na tanong sa palagay mo?
I think yung sexual harassment, Tito Boy, that's the hardest one because, di ba, Ate Kylie, since nag-pageant ka internationally and you won, you've met so many girls that have lots of different experiences, and I think that hit close to home to that girl kasi naka-experience siya nun personally. So it took a lot for her to stand in there and speak about that experience. I feel like sobrang hard nun for her, and she's very brave to answer that honestly and in a way that she's not ashamed.
That's right. Ikaw, Kylie.
About that, parang stars aligned for her that night. For her, that was her advocacy. But it was also parang sentimental favorite of mine.
Who was my favorite?
She was one of the girls na I thought could win the crown. And when I found out her advocacy was sexual harassment, her question turned out to be sexual harassment, I found this is such a perfect question for her. Parang it was such a perfect question for her. She answered it so well and so perfectly, so brave, so confidently. Parang wala.
Siya ba yung audio engineer?
Audio engineer.
Okay,
Yes.
because she works. I mean, she works in New York, and I can imagine that world. It's a male-dominated world, and you're working as an audio engineer in a city like New York. You really have to know how to stand for yourself, diba? But I agree. Tita, let's go to you, Tita.
For me lang, Tito Boy, I want to know your thoughts about the new format because a lot of people are now saying na number one, hindi na rin surprising na Latina ang nanalo. Parang meron na tayong understanding and acceptance na ganito ang magiging resulta niya because they changed the format very early on. They removed the speaking parts na malakas ang Pilipinas. So for a lot of pageant fans, people are thinking that yung pinakamalakas na card natin at yung card ng ibang Asians pagdating sa speaking skills, parang agad-agad we need out eh. Agad-agad ang focus natin sa physical eh. Ano pong tingin niyo dito?
I totally
That they
agree with that
changed
point.
it.
I totally agree to that point. But we're reacting because of our strength. Okay, so again, that's a bias that we have.
Yes.
Hindi ako masyado masaya doon sa format change na yun dahil natatanggal nga yung strength natin doon sa pagsasalita, di ba? So I am personally disappointed with the new format, but I think the organization is to find a good balance. Pero may tanong ako sa iyo, Tita. Ano ang effect na 8 babae ang judges? Okay, I'll rephrase the question and you can answer this, Kylie and Kisses. Ano ba ang pagkakaiba ng tingin ng women judges as opposed to male judges?
Tito Boy, ako talaga, I have been very vocal ever since that they rolled this one out. At first, it was okay with me because at that time, they were really focusing on women empowerment. So I totally understood at that time that they had just women as judges. But as years went on, they continued with that scheme. And I sort of understood na, hey, this is no longer being empowered. This is closing Miss Universe and looking at Miss Universe through the perspective of women. So, kamusta naman yung mga members ng LGBTQ na alam naman natin nagpapaikot sa beauty pageantry? Kamusta naman the other aspects? Like, you know, what about the sports people? What about the athletes? Because they understand it. You know, they understand how this works. They understand the pressure. They understand how it is to become a brand ambassador, knowing that you have your training, you have your fan base. So, nasayangan ako because they could have, you know, plucked other folks kasi these girls eventually they're groomed to, I don't know, maybe a career in modeling, in hosting, in being an actress, in being an advocate or a spokesperson. So sayang yung opportunity lang for me.
Okay, agree ako doon. Kylie, ikaw, pananaw mo na lahat babae ang judges?
Listening to Tita Lavinia point, in the beginning, parang wow, oo nga, all women. Pero she has a point with the LGBTQ community and
the men.
the men. I think important din siya eh, pero I respect their decision naman.
Okay, all right. I get your point. Kisses, ikaw. What is your take?
I think Tito Boy, like Ate Kylie said, I respect that decision of Miss Universe. I think it's an interesting choice, not all women, because that's very rare in the world today. But on the other hand, I think it wouldn't hurt to have more inclusivity within the judges.
All right. Amir, very shortly lang. Very quick. Amir,
Boy.
your audio there.
Yes, Tito Boy. Alam mo, kasi sa pageant,
Having women judges.
yeah, ako, disagree ako doon.
Okay.
Alam mo, marami sa mga designers, lalaki, or nasa LGBTQ community, mga trainer, mentor, coach, designer, makeup artist, mga nasa LGBTQ na members.
All right.
So, parang tinanggalan nila doon ng alam mo yun, ng parang, hindi naman siguro freedom, but kasi mas maraming audience doon na mas talagang nakaka-relate. Alam mo yun?
Okay.
Aminin natin
Tita,
Yes, aminin natin Tito Boy sa Pilipinas, yung mga nagtuturo sa mga pageant, mga lalaki kadalasan.
Opo.
And Tita, thank you for raising that point. Lalo na sa LGBTQIA community. Kasi for every beauty queen, behind every beauty queen, is a community of LGBTQ people. Ako naman ang issue ko, that push that empowerment concept a little bit too far. I mean, many steps beyond, the concept of empowerment. Empowerment is not tantamount to having women judges, and just reserve the decision as to who is the most beautiful to women. Para sa akin, sumobra yon. Kaya hindi rin ako masaya doon. Pangalawa, I have an issue with translators. Ang issue ko lamang, kung 30 seconds dapat ang ibinibigay sa bawat contestants, kasi na-mention mo yung mga Latina, no? Dapat, pasagutin mo yung contestant ang 30 seconds and then translation. Because when you make the translator translate per line, that buys time for the candidate and that gives them more time to think.
Yes.
As opposed to the other contestants, nabubuuhin mo yung 30 seconds. Wala kang pagkakataon. So let them say the 30-second answer and translate. Meron akong issue doon na parang, bakit dapat dire-diretso din. Para fair. Doon ako may issue. Anyway, go to your next point, Tita.
This one, I just want to bring it out there kasi I think we're being very polite about the issue, but it would be nice to have a discussion. Rabia had a very public meltdown. Now, I am a little 50-50 with my feelings about it because I have a little bit of a relationship with Rabia. So, bilang tita, naintindihan ko na parang maybe at this time, it's okay to be more vulnerable in public kasi parang accepted naman na yan ngayon. But at the same time, alam ko rin na what happened might have reached the higher ups and maybe changed their mind about how mentally strong Rabia is. So I don't know, ano pong take niyo dyan when it comes to being public with your emotions now?
Kayo, Kisses, ikaw, very quickly, your take. This was after the national costume. She went to a public IG, and then she broke down. It was a very quick live IG. Did you see it, Kisses?
I did not see, but Miss Tita Lavinia, I hear what you say. I feel like we're all humans and just because it's a pageant, di ba po, it doesn't mean that it should make us act less human. Pero I feel like that breakdown that Rabia had, I don't think that makes her less of a winner.
Okay.
What I feel, Tito Boy, is that when those things come na mga ganong bagay na sobrang mahirap i-control, we can use that as an opportunity to rise above it, I feel.
Okay. Kylie?
Dito parang after seeing the live, mas napamahal ang Rabia. Doon ko nakita na, gusto ko talaga nung batang to naman natin. In her power to win. Parang mas napamahal ako sa kanya with this live.
Ako ang ganda. Ako naman, Kylie, because I was all for her. I was really praying. Can you imagine, bahagi na siya ng dasal natin dito sa bansang ito. Pero when I saw her cry, and thank you for raising the point because it's an elephant in the room, Tita. Kung ako teacher, kagagalitan ko siya. Because at that moment, ang dumating sa akin, ikaw, you were listening too much to social media. As a matter of fact, if I were training and if I were her manager, I would have, for a certain period of time, I would not have allowed her to open her social media accounts. She was listening too much and she was reacting too much. And you can lose focus. You can lose, ang dating sa akin nung umiyak siya, parang she was listening too much to the noise. Siyempre, may magkakagusto, may mga hindi. But is this actually the right time to listen to all? You know, you have a contest. You're in the middle of a contest. So, yun lang, parang teacher na parang estudyante ko siya at sasabihan ko siya, girl, dali, wala yan sa, it's not even in the score. Move on. You know, what happened? Wala na tayong magagawa. Let's talk about what's next. I understand, I really understand that you wanted to do more, but tapos na. You know, all you have is now. All you have is now. Ako, yun ang aking take, Tita. I didn't like the crying. I didn't like the crying.
Ako
Another
naman,
point,
Tito Boy.
Tita. Go ahead, Ameer.
Yeah, ako naman, yun nga, tama po kayo doon sa sinabi niyo. Although naintindihan ko yung emotions ni Rabia, at naiyak din ako actually. Pero yun nga, naalala ko kasi si Jenny noon, talagang during the pageant, talagang ayaw niyang mag-cellphone. Kasi nakafocus na talaga siya sa pageant. Yun ang ginagawa talaga dapat. Kumbaga, deadma ka muna sa mga social media. Focus ka lang sa pageant mo. Kasi at the end of the day, ang kalaban mo na talaga sarili mo. Yun lang yun.
Ako naiintindihan ko rin, Ameer, ha? Naiintindihan ko rin yung humanity. I also understand the feelings. Na? But you are in a contest. You're on limited time. We can't waste that. Ito nakafocus ka dapat. Anyway, Tita, go to your next point, please.
Next point ko, Tita Boy, is this. I've spoken to several beauty queens as well as candidates. And doon sa mga high-profile na beauty queens na paminsan-minsan nakakausap ko, nakakachikahan ko, maybe because I'm such a tita, nare-realize ko, Tito Boy, na parang mas marami sa kanila ngayon ang may question mark. Is it really worth it to represent the Philippines? Kasi, Tito Boy, nakita naman natin yung nangyari kay Rabia. From the moment she was crowned up until sinalang natin sa mga Q&A sesh, medyo lumaki yung pangalan niya, nakabit sa mga political something. So, parang umabot ako sa point na worth it pa ba na abutin ng isang kandidata yung ganong klase ng pressure, yung ganong klase ng pag-magnify, and yung ganong level ng mental training na parang bini-breakdown ka na nila't lahat.
You know, Tita, the breaking of any human being is not fair. Pero when a person chooses to be a public figure, ito yung, I'm writing a book. I always say this. 13 things I know that you may want to know about managing public figures in this country, and that includes beauty queens, politicians, movie stars, and singers. The moment a person decides to be public, you are public. You are public. Sabi nga ng the late John Rivers, we have the right to say your dress is ugly because you get $28 million for a film. You make money on us because we feed, your producers, etc., etc. The breaking is when you take it in the context of a personal experience, tama ka, Tita. But when one decides to be public, and lalo in the age of social media, it's very difficult to say hanggang dito lang. Nakakaawa din yung bata. But in the beginning, alam mo, dito sa Pilipinas, Tita, I really thought she was tough. But even tough girls, I know, cry and they break, no? Pero akala ko palaban yung bata na, alaala niyo na ba yung inilabas yung litrato niya nung high school, ang daming kontrobersiya, pero tumindig yung bata.
Yes.
That is
Yes.
the scourge, Tita, of being public. What is private are the things that you can keep away from the public. But anything that the public sees belongs to the public. Parang,
Exactly.
ang example ko lagi, Tita, ay nagsimba ako, Boy Abunda, I'm a public figure. Sasabihin ko, please don't have a selfie with me because I am on private time. Hindi pwede yun. Because I don't define my being public. Who defines my being public is the public. Swerte ka pag pagbigyan ka ng publiko. Kaya bilib na bilib ako sa Amerika, halimbawa, lalo na sa New York. When you go to movie stars and say, excuse me, can I have a photo taken? No. Take nila yan eh. Take natin yun eh. Sa Pilipinas, ay Diyos ko, hindi ka pwedeng.
Baka cancel ka.
Oo, Diyos ko. Kukulamin kita. Di ba?
Lalo na sa
Parang
beauty
ang
queen.
layo-layong ng nilakbay ko tapos hindi mo ako pinagbigyan, isang litrato lang. Culturally, may pagkakaiba din ang ating definition of being public. But anyway, but I am one with you that the girl was subjected to just a bit too much. I am not saying she deserves it, but I really hope that she had been forewarned by her handlers that this is the kind of life you're gonna go through. Ito yung araw-araw na magiging buhay mo. Do you
Tito
think,
Boy,
Tita,
add ko lang. Yes
no,
po.
I have a question. Do you think that affected her?
Absolutely, Tito Boy. Kasi sa pagkakakilala ko kay Rabia, she is very scientific. She is very academic. And sometimes when these people, they formulate something in their head, they have notes, they have things that are bulleted in their head. And if they don't get to fulfill that vision in their head, it affects them even more. So these are not the types of beauty queens na parang, okay, Philippine sash, fun, fun, fun. Ito yung mga talagang tipong totok. So, I did a little bit of like a blind item thing on the Titas of Pageantry page. Parang very quick lang na nasabi ko na pagdating talaga sa beauty pageantry ngayon sa Pilipinas with what happened, siguro kailangan mag-recalibrate na tayo. We cannot rest on our laurels as a powerhouse country. Hindi natin pwede isipin na pasok pa rin yan kasi ang daming sponsors at Team Philippines ang laki-laki ng fan base. Medyo kailangan ayusin siguro natin yung training program natin and include more of that mental health.
Tama.
I don't know, like sessions. Because I'm not saying wala siya nun Baka
No,
naman
no.
meron. It's
But
just that
wonderful
ngayon,
suggestion.
we have to really think about this kasi the Filipino pageant fans, we dominate social media to the point na iniisip nila ang sasalbahin na natin because we speak English. It's easy to pick out things that we say on social media and say the Filipinos are now this cocky on social media. I honestly don't feel that because I still think na mas meron pang malala sa atin, but they do it in their own language. So people don't get to see it.
Tita, ang ako naman, yung ingay hindi ako natatakot. Lalo na sa social media because it's ephemeral. It's very fleeting. Okay?
Yes, it's fleeting.
But I like the controversy in that context. No, I don't welcome controversy. I like it because it made her very present. What should have done is to redirect and recalibrate that attention to something. And I totally agree that instead of saying stop, you train the girl on how to embrace that kind of a new life. Alam mo yun? And I totally agree with you that I think re-educating, recalibrating this whole direction of training would help. Alam mo, Kylie, nung batch niyo, for example, and the other batches, ang expectation ng tao ang taas. Pag nakakakita kami ng beauty queen, hindi ka pwedeng, ay, maganda lang pala siya pag may makeup. Ay, may peklat pala siya sa may noo. Ay, you have to be flawless because you are a public figure. I mean, have you come across that experience that you are expected to be an apparition?
All the time. Parang to the point na minsan ay hindi ako ayos. Yung hindi na lang ako lalabas, hindi ako ayos. Ay, hindi pala siya maganda. Maganda without me.
Oo.
Pero I guess I was so excited to turn also over my crown to the next girl kasi really siya ng pressure of me that year. And when the spot parang and then I started to become myself more. Okay, it's okay. See me as I am now.
Okay.
Now, so, I say there was pressure when you are the reigning queen.
Alam mo tita, hindi lang sa mga beauty queens, lalo na sa mga artista, ay ang pangit pala niya, ay ang liit pala niya, ay hindi pala siya magaling magbihis, ay the disappointments because people see them in big screens on television. So yung managing the expectations and what is real ay nakasimangot, ay, masama pala ang ugali niya, and that was just a bad day for someone, and then you just caught someone in, it's something that you have to deal with. Thank you for raising that point na kailangan pangalagaan din natin ang mental condition, the health of whoever our queen is, kasi importante yan. You have any other point that you want to raise, Tita?
Kung pwede pa po sana, I want to also talk about this. Kasi, first of all, pinush talaga nila na magkaroon ng Miss Universe this year. And there were at least 2 contestants who participated coming from politically charged countries. The first one was Israel, na I think napabalita at one point na hindi na rin sasali because of the tension between Israel and Palestine. And then, of course, the other one na medyo kinabahan tayo lahat kasi alam natin na baka balik sa kanya, iba naman pagbalik sa bansa niya, si Miss Myanmar. Nakakatakot na baka anong sabihin niyang klaseng statement, lalong madiskaril yung campaign niya, lalo na yung pag-uwi niya sa kanila. So, how do you feel about this, Tito Boy, when it's like a beauty pageant that's supposed to unite cultures and nations, and then you have like a few na parang medyo 50-50, ang hirap ng posisyon nila?
That's a risk you have to take. Because if you say you cannot join, that would even be more dangerous. But making Miss Myanmar win, I think, was a balancing act in the costume category. And the Israel, medyo kinabahan din ako kung anong diskurso because it's very, very sensitive now. I mean, what's happening in Gaza between the Palestinians nga and the Israelis. So you're right there. Pero meron ng mga nangyari niyan in the past, Tita eh.
Yes, palagi nga po eh.
Oo, meron
with Israel,
oo.
usually in Lebanon.
Correct. Oo, meron ng mga ganun. But I think that's a risk that you have to take. And by the way, I like Miss Raja. I don't know why I like Miss Raja. Nagagandaan lang ako sa kanya. I thought she's really
Test
beautiful.
value naman talaga, Tito Boy.
Ganda. Oh. Okay, let's go to Kylie. Kylie, you wanna discuss your points? Yes.
My points are on the point of view of a viewer and siguro past beauty queen. They're much more simpler. And ako naman, I really want to talk about Rabia.
Okay.
I think we spend she was a very sweet girl, warm girl. She's very lovable. She's very likable, very hardworking. And it was so evident throughout the whole pageant. Gusto ko lang i-appreciate yung transformation from the beginning when she joined Miss to Miss Universe Philippines. But for me, and to be a young woman, she would be someone I would be able to look up to. Parang, kung kaya niya, kaya ko. Parang, yun, I would want to appreciate her transformation, appreciate how hardworking she was going into.
Actually.
I totally agree. The transformation, naalala ko, Tita, at saka Ameer and Kisses, kasi umiko sa social media yung look niya dati, tapos yung look niya ngayon. And tiniis yun ng bata. I can imagine the kind of mental anguish that one would go through. Pero hinarap niya. And ang ano ko, Tita, ang issue ko dun, sagot ng sagot yung bata. Alam mo yun, yung sagot ng sagot yung bata, she was put on the defensive na noon hindi ko pa alam ang angle ko, hindi ko alam ang ganito ko. Yung pinasiseryo, everything was academic. Everything was so academic that everything had to be answered. Parang doon ako may issue. Pero nakakaawa yung bata. Yung transformation kahanga-hanga. Tama ka doon, Kylie. Kung kaya ng batang ito, kaya ko. She has the tenacity of, a Maasai woman warrior. If there was one, there was a woman warrior. Yung ang tapang talaga nung Rabia. She had the energy. And walang kaduda-duda, she did the best she could. Any other point, Kylie?
guess my other point would be maybe like, ewan ko ba, pero watching the show, parang the host could have done maybe given like more. Ano,
Saya-saya nga eh.
my favorite Miss Universe talaga is Olivia Culpo. So parang I have idolized pageants, pero baka nakulaan lang ako ng
Ako naman napainom ako ng tubig. I love, you know, because I'm a host. But since we're talking about, you know, a critique, and when you critique, parati namin sinasabi, you do not judge because judgment comes with the intent of destroying another one. But when you critique, it comes with the desire to learn. Sorry, that's not a good word. That's not even fair. I was about to say I can. This is Mario Lopez. He's very good looking. But the job that I saw was idiot board reading, teleprompter reading. I missed Steve Harvey. I missed the personalizing of a written script. Hindi talaga sila lumabas. You know, may mga patawa-tawa ng konti. But I missed Steve. I missed the other hosts who would own a script. And how do you do that? You practice with your prompters, but you know when to stop. And when you stop, you put in your own, you know, your own color. Sinubukan niya sinubukan ni Chesley, ni Demi Lee, at saka ni Paulina. That's why there were moments that were fun. Pero si Mario, but also, given the givens, they may not have much of a choice but to stick to what they were supposed to do. Para lang malinis. Ito lang. But I looked for the Steve Harvey moments. I looked for the Steve... hindi ka pwedeng masyado mag-eksperimento rin, lalo na if you're doing it the first time. Si Pauline, si Olivia in the beginning, medyo talaga she just talked it out. She just talked it out to what was ever written. Hindi ko nakilala nung una eh. Nangangapa ka, nakakakabayan eh. Nakakakaba. But I missed Steve Harvey. Yun lang ang sasabihin ko. Ikaw, Tita, what do you like to say?
Tito Boy, feeling ko rin po kasi, even with the prelims, kung exposure lang ng kandidata ang makikita natin, umaabot lang yan sa mga 15 seconds, matagal na yung mga nasa 20-second na exposure. Sobrang snappy na hindi ko maintindihan kung sino ba naghahabol sa kanila. So parang feeling ko kaya nakakahon yung dalawang host na yun kasi talagang baka may mandate na we have to stick with the length of the airing.
Tama.
Kaya hindi na rin sila naglaro.
Ako ang sinasabi ko lang, halimbawa, we now come to the final Q&A. Halimbawa, Q&A. If it were Steve Harvey, he would have said a line like, and I am going to be very careful and I'm going to do this very well. Yung mga lusot lang na ganon, to personalize it, to personalize it, kasi makaka-relate ako. Yung hindi naman mahabang ad-libbing, but you can own a script. But I also like the sense of safety. Magpapaka-safe na ako kasi kaysa naman, attempt ko to color it. Baka saan pa ako mapunta. Ikaw, Kisses. What do you want to say about the hosting?
Tito Boy, like this kind of, I feel like yung hosting kasi, nag-host po kasi ako sa ASAP, and it's more of, you have to be fun, you have to be energetic, and you have to listen also. You have to learn to listen, and you have to be very interested in what the topic is and the guests are talking about. So I feel that they should have more hosts that are very into pageantry, because at the same time, they would be very happy to be there.
Okay. Alam mo, Tita, kaya sinasabi ko yan, dahil yung mga previous contests, hindi ko maalimutan pag sinasabi ng host na Miss Philippines brought the whole country to the auditorium. You know, I would remember that line, and that's not scripted. Nung preliminaries, sinabi nila yan kay Venezuela. I remember that line. So these are the unscripted moments when, sabi ng host, ibig sabihin, it made me feel good. And what made me feel good were lines actually that were not, you know, in the script. But they still did a fairly fair job para sa akin. But it could have been better because my standard for Miss Universe is Steve Harvey. despite what happened with Pia. Para sa akin, but he's a seasoned, he's a seasoned host and very tough and very smart. Not to say that Mario is not. Not to say that Olivia is not, but I'm talking about beauty pageants, and I've seen the career of Steve Harvey, and he's just really, really smart. May mga points pa kayo, Kisses? Because I want to talk about Rabia more now. Let's talk about Rabia more.
Rabia,
Okay. Tito Boy, meron lang akong ano. Kasi this,
like you said. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, Kisses, go ahead. And then we go to
I
Amir.
like her lightness, like you said, Tito Boy. Kasi I
Okay.
feel like in pageantry, kasi Tito Boy, lauded are the ones that are so fierce are lauded usually. And I feel like every girl has an individuality and merong uniqueness dyan eh. And if you take away that uniqueness, there's no other person that can show that but her, because isa lang siya eh. So whatever that uniqueness is, which Rabia truly showed, her lightness, like you said, that radiates and it transcends to the audience. So I like that about her.
Okay. Amir, you wanted to say something. Go ahead.
Yeah, Tito Boy, yung kanina kasi gusto ko lang magdagdag doon sa bagong format. Kasi this time around, wala akong nakitang African na pumasok. So nakakalungkot lang. Wala akong nakita eh. Like there were seven Asians and 12 from the Americas. So walang African. Medyo nasad ako. I have a lot may bago kasi akong gusto doon.
Cameroon ba? Sino
Yeah, it's
doon?
Cameroun.
Si Cameroon din yung gusto ko
Ako
eh.
din. I like Cameroon then. Is that the way you pronounce it? Cameroon?
Cameroon po.
I also
Cameroon.
like her. Gusto ko rin siya. Oo.
Okay.
Palagi ko nagkakaisa tayo. Mi naman very quickly lang. Doon sa yung sila Chesley, I liked it when they were, the script was pretty strong, yung mga let's be separate together. Gusto ko yung mga emphasis on talking about how we can be together during COVID, during the pandemic. I love that line, let's be separate together. I also like, Tita, I also like the empowered women attempt at emphasizing it by making the girls interview each other about each other's experience. In the beginning, I was tentative about it. Sabi ko, is this a bit too much? But when I was listening to their stories, na-appreciate ko siya. What do you think? Yung about personal setbacks and disabilities that fuel their desire to be queens. Your take there, Tita.
Tito Boy, kasi I think talaga the direction that they're taking for Miss Universe now is relatability. So, as much as they're looking for yun nga, the politically incorrect term na eye candy, they still want to maintain the other aspects of being an IMG queen, which is something that's like more on the relatable side, more on the real side na parang girl talk lang to. In reality, ito talaga yung the most comfortable way for women or girls to talk about certain issues, have a conversation. So siguro yun talaga po yung talagang pinapakita nila ngayon na parang yes, we are still looking for that aspirational beauty. Yes, we will still give you the glam factor that you want because you've always asked for the Trump era type of beauty queen, but we will not compromise the type of beauty queens that we are going to look for kasi at the core of it, this is a competition to bridge together maybe social media, traditional media, and other endorsers out there.
Tama. Kasi ako naman, Tita, ang take ko doon, sabi ko, wow, yung one of the two girls during the preliminaries, or one of the three girls, mentioned diverse body types. Sabi ko, hala, that's walking on ice in a beauty pageant like this one. Pero sabi ko, unless we attempt to go there, we wouldn't know if it's going to work. Like now, sabi mo ko nga, Amir, kanina sa'yo, Miss Australia is 5'3".
Yes.
This is not very, may mga pagbabago na rin, no? Miss India is 5'6". Of course, Olivia Culpo, when she won, was 5'5", no? So may mga pero I'm looking forward to the day na, sige nga, kung matranscend natin yung beauty of a woman. But ako personally, kasi I'm a fan of the beauty contest. It's to me entertainment. It's entertainment to me. Diba? I mean, let's see what happens. Para sa akin, mga artista sila. Production sa akin, the production shot, siguro nga, limitado ng tao, Amir? Limitado
Yes,
siguro
tama
sila
po.
ng tao.
Yes, because,
oo.
Yes, kasi po pandemic nga. There are protocols na
Right.
pinapollow. So, kailangan bawasan yung mga tao nila.
Ang reklamo ko lang talaga doon, parang pagdating kay Rabia, parang sabi ko, bakit hindi flattering masyado yung mga shots? Pinay-personal ko yon. But thank you for giving a break to Jojo Bragais, who's brilliant, who's really brilliant. Olivia Kido, who's
Beautiful
based
shoes.
Olivia Kido is based in LA, is a good friend of mine. She was also one of the sponsors. Sana nakakapasok na ng ganun. Yung gowns lang, ang tingin ko, lahat sila nag-channel ng Catriona, the red gown. Everybody looked the same. Parang everybody was so afraid to get out of that silhouette. Parang, hey, what's happening to you girls? Alam na ng katawa, alam na yung body type nyo ng mga judges. Why can't you go out of that in your gowns? Everybody had that Catriona look. Tama ba ako? Parang lahat sila, they stuck to that silhouette.
Yes, Tito
Right.
Boy.
Hindi lang po sa silhouette, kahit natanggal, even if you put them in a ball gown, nakikita natin yung pitik ng movements eh. So we know the turns, we know, para sa naka-trademark, we know how the hands of Kat would, position, her hands at the back, pero yung palm mismo. So parang alam natin yung little quirks eh, even with the hands eh.
Right. And the Pia pout breaking into a smile.
Yes. And
Ang
the
daming
smiles.
parang sabi ko, it became uninspired to a certain point, no? Ang swimwear, proud ako. Alam nyo, I think the swimwear, the fit on Rabia was great.
Yes.
Ano yung tawag sa yung tawag sa gown that they wore with how do you call that in fashion, Kylie? I'm sorry. They had the swimwear and then they wore a
cover up.
A
robe.
Cover-up. A robe, right.
Yeah, a robe.
But the thing was, everybody was doing the same thing.
Kasi, Tito Boy, it was so limiting eh. I feel like it's more limiting than a cape or a sarong. Like with a sarong, you can play with it. I know that Rabia's trainer, pasarala trainer Ian, like meron siyang TikTok video na showing like several stages of playing with the sarong. So parang sayang.
Tito Boy,
go ahead, Ameer.
Naalala ko kasi si Rabia, nag-win yan ng Best in Swimwear during sa Miss Universe Philippines. Kaya naniniwala ko sa kanya na when it comes to swimwear, I know she can make it. Kaya lang,
sa kanya yun.
Yes, sa kanya yun. Kaso lang nga, limited talaga yung movement na magagawa mo doon sa sarong na meron ka or sa robe na meron ka. Kasi
Ameer, go ahead.
Yeah, and then at the same time, yung parang hindi ka comfortable na kung anong gagawin mo kasi baka mamaya pag ikot mo bigla kang maapakan. Yung parang alam mo yun, basta yung galaw mo counted mo lang din at the same time kasi nga hindi mo kayang ma-express yung gusto mong, alam mo yung tinatawag natin na yung parang galaw na parang aurahan. Nahirapan ka kasi sometimes naka-focus ka sa kung anong suot mo. Yun na yun eh. Nahihirapan kang i-move.
Tama.
Yes.
Kylie, what do you want to say? Let's talk about Rabia. The performance, the walk, the swimwear, the gown, etc.
Ako, Tito Boy, I really want to hear her speak. Parang I wanted to, alam mo yun, parang confident kasi ako sa kanya sa Q&A. So parang I really
Sayang.
to be there, to speak. Gusto ko siya marinig. Gusto kong pumalakpak after her Q&A. Yun yung ramdam.
I support that. Alam mo kung bakit? Sabi ko, nung naglo-long gown siya, I was telling my partner, sabi ko, sana may mic, magsalita siya. Today, I walk. Para lang marinig siya.
Doon pa lang, nagsasalita na siya. Porsyento na ako dito.
Kisses, ikaw, you wanna ask anybody anything?
Ako, I feel like Ate Kylie can totally pull that off. Kasi si Ate Kylie, I've known Ate Kylie for a long time now, and I feel like she speaks a lot with her eyes. So I think that's one of the things I like about you, Ate Kylie. And that's one of the reasons why you won, because you speak with your eyes, even if you don't speak. So I think that's also an important ingredient of being a beauty queen. Those beauty queens that admire have so much to say just by standing there and looking at their eyes.
Oh, wow. Okay. Ako naman, you can react to this, but I'll be very honest kasi ito na may critique lamang to. There is no doubt that Rabia did her best. Let's be very clear about it. She did her best and she made us proud. Pero maglalakas loob ako sabihin that she could have done better. That she could have done better. Okay. My points are, yun nga, yung national costume. Stop worrying about the headgear. I mean, it's over. And naflatan lang ako ng buhok niya doon, pero nadala niya. She walked with, wow, with so much panache. You know, yung walk niya, napaka-Victoria Secret. I didn't like the crying. I didn't like the crying. Swimwear, it was a great fit. She was, pero doon sa nung naglalakad siya sa swimwear, nakapout, no? Sabi ko, either she's nervous or she was channeling fierceness. Tita, yung hindi ko alam, was she masama ang loob? Was she angry? Was she bothered? Or was she jittery? Yun ang dating sa akin during the, did you notice that, Ameer?
Yes, actually, Tito Boy, na-notice ko yon. Actually, there were a lot of comments na sinasabi na parang hindi siya nag-enjoy. Yun yung mga nabasa kong comments. But I believe, naniwala man ako, nag-enjoy siya. But the thing is, hindi talaga na-capture ng cam yung perfect na angle na para sa kanya. May times na, siguro pag na-capture ng camera, nakasima o nakasmize or hindi nakangiti. But the thing is, mostly talaga na-capture talaga ay hindi siya nakangiti. Yun yung nakita ko doon. And parang nanibago ako because that's not the way she walk. I mean, I know, I see her during the Miss Universe Philippines. Sobrang love ko. Kasi nga sabi ko, Tito Boy, kasama doon yung nag-cost doon, yung susot niyang robe. Isa yon.
Okay.
And yun yung nakita kong naging ano niya doon, problema niya doon.
Ako naman, ito yung that's why I wanted you to react to this. Kasi kayo, like Ameer, alam niyo yung mga, the stories inside. Me naman, Rabia was an eager, driven candidate. But she didn't cross over into that winning space for some reason. She was so, I didn't see the fun. I didn't see her enjoy. She was obsessed. I will use a word. She was obsessed in winning, but she lost the sparkle somewhere. Yung parang, she did nag-rehearse si Rabia, but she forgot to let go. You know, she was parang ang feeling ko, Rabia, stop cramming. You're on stage. Enjoy ka lang. Let go. Nasaan da yung landi ng kanina sa Kisses spoke about the eyes? Ganda-ganda ng mata ng Rabia. Sabi ko, nasaan na yung nakita naming the landi of the mata? Oh, she might have been, kaya after the crying, sabi ko, I was worried na, nako baka siniseryoso ng batang ito ang comments. Sige lang, laban ka. I missed the fun. I missed the fun of, let's say, the way Peru, was, joking and was just having fun. Diba? Remember in the top 5 how Peru was, just so relaxed. I really thought she was going to win. I looked for, yun nga, yung parang she was still in training, the last part of her training. She couldn't let go. Nawalan sa akin yung and now, thank you for saying that, Ameer. Thank you for saying na hindi yun ang lakad niya because she blended with so many other contestants. Nawalan sa akin ang brand personality sa Rabia. Even in the swimwear, which I thought she was very strong, pero nag-blend. But in spite, really, this is honest from the bottom of my heart, despite that, sabi ko, hindi pwedeng hindi to pumasok sa 10. But of course, the judges had a different opinion.
Kung sana, Tito Boy, pinagbigyan lang siya pumasok sa top 10 at tuloy-tuloy sa top 5, naniniwala talaga ako. Since magaling na speaker si Rabia, I had a chance or privilege na kausap ko siya at na-interview ko siya. Magaling talaga siya, Tito Boy. She speaks from her heart. And pag nagsalita siya, with humility yon, and talagang makakapture niya yung audience, with substance yung mga sagot niya lagi. Kaya sabi ko sayang, kung sana pinagbigyan pa to si Rabia sa top 5. Talagang,
yan lahat ang inaantay natin, Ameer, na makapagsalita siya. Sabi nga, bibigyan ko ng mic, gown pa lang eh. Sabi ko, I'm Rabia, I'm from the Philippines and I teach kids. Sabi ko, para marinig na nilang nagsasalita. What is the story about the gown, Tita? What was the story about the gown?
Ang sabi po daw kasi nila, 4 na gowns yung ginawa na yon. Pero i-add ko lang po muna yung observation ninyo na parang nawala ng joy pala si Rabia. This one I learned from Kylie actually. Kylie, I don't know if you remember, but I interviewed you about this. Yung sponsor visits po ba and sponsor events, palagay ko talaga kasi sobrang pinagod nila si Rabia dun eh. That's great for us Filipino pageant fans because we get to see our girl. She is fully exposed, busy tayo, nagpupuyat tayo, reposting her photos. But
Pero,
I really saw the exhaustion part really
ayun.
suck her down. Doon ko talaga nakita. Yung breakdown niya had something to do with things not working her way, plus yung level ng exhaustion. Tito
Napagod.
Boy,
Oo.
she had rehearsals in the morning, and then nagbihis para sa very important na closed door interview, and then nagbihis mag-isa lang dun sa kanyang national costume na 21 kilos yung wings at nasugat-sugatan siya, duguan siya nung lumalaban na siya ng national costume. At sa pagkakaintindi ko, eto siguro bulong na rin ng ibang tao, hindi ko alam kung gaano ka-reliable yung source. What right before the final show, mukhang nag-breakdown pa ata kasama yung ibang girls. So parang medyo pattern na siya that probably that 2-day period. So that's why on Tita sa Pageantry, I also posted like a message saying, you know what, you are Philippines, kebs na yun nangyari mo sa
Yes.
preliminaries. Pero kasi may bumulong na tita,
yes.
maybe you can say something more public. Kasi mukhang hirap na siya doon yung sa emotional part. I don't know I am just assuming dumadaan lang po sa akin yung mga request na yan.
Tita, before you talk about the gown, I want to make a comment on that. Again, that should be considered in the training of our future queens. That should be incorporated in the training of our future queens. Na, be ready. You have to be healthy. You have to eat. You have to have your vitamins because papagurin ka talaga. Now, it's in context. Napagod siguro yung bata. She wanted to win so badly. I wanted to make you proud. When in fact, she just had to seize every moment. It's a series of moments. Siyempre, kailangan bahagi din siguro ng training yun. Kasi hindi ko talaga nakita na naglaro yung bata. Kasi gusto ko yung sorry for the word, no? Gusto ko yung landi niya, yung Miss Universe Philippines. I love the landi of the girl eh. Oo, na nawala, na hindi ko nakita. Oo, yun. Anyway, you want me to talk about the gown before I go to Kylie? My question, Tita, what's the story about the gown?
The gown po kasi, ang sabi talaga nila, 4 yung gown na ginawa for her. And then, sa pagkakaintindi ko, may coordination issues din po tayo doon because Rabia was already in the US. The gowns from Dubai, if I'm not mistaken, or one of the Middle Eastern countries, followed. So sa pagkakaintindi ko, parang medyo late na rin yung fittings nila. So if you notice the preliminary gowns, it got like a 50-50 like acceptance factor kasi nga parang they wanted to go for something elegant. They wanted maybe to deviate from the Catriona types of gowns. So medyo nawalan ng sex appeal because it was so closed off, it was so elegant, it was so classic. Walang problema yung embellishments and beading because talagang exquisite, talagang couture. But in terms of like putting that type of gown in a beauty pageant where you have like women who's like showing every part of their body, baka medyo nahirapan tayo doon. And they reserved the beautiful parang phoenix gown naman, the orange gown for the finals na it is really a gamble talaga. So lalo na sa Philippine setting na now we have 2 gowns unlike before some years ago kung ano yung sinuot mo sa prelims yun ang isusuot mo sa finals. Bongga na tayo ngayon marami na tayong gowns. Ang problema pag marami kang choices, how do you pick the right one for the right time?
Ako naman ang worry ko, sabi ko yung the next girl, when they were exiting, sabi ko, girl, huwag mo apakan ha, yung kapa, baka matumba si Rabia. No, I really worried about it because medyo may distansya sila. Kylie, you wanted to say something, please.
Tito Boy, I just wanted to...
I'm sorry, Kylie?
I just wanted to add into it. Parang a pageant is really exhausting. And many times, pageant, nakakakuha lang ng 2 hours of sleep. So it's really being on the candidate. And with all the sponsor visits, tama nga tita, baka napagod siya doon, baka
Oo.
Actually.
And you can't say no to this, di ba? You have to go.
Tito Boy, hindi po talaga. I did an episode kasi what I did for this Miss Universe season, inaraw-araw ko ng report yung mga pageant fans. So para meron akong day 1, day 2, day 3.
Oo.
Day 4, Tito Boy, I am not kidding. She had like 7 photo shoots
Oh my God.
plus 1 event. So parang ngayon, ang feeling namin parang, ala kayo, gamit na gamit nyo naman ng Philippines.
Oh, okay. So you really have to be mentally strong, no? Aside from
Yes.
being physically strong. Wow. Okay. And I'm hearing that for the first time. Now I know the story. Because if you break down just before the final night, that's a bit of a problem. That's a bit of a problem, and that would affect your performance, diba? Wow. But thank you. How long have you been on air?
Nawala na.
Okay lang, Tito Boy.
But I promise I will do an analysis, a critique on the Q&A because that's my field. But ang panghihinayang ko lamang hindi napasali si Rabia. Yun lang. And all of us were hoping that sana makapasok siya because doon malakas ang laban niya. Kasi
Yes.
meron, I would like to share this with fledgling again with aspiring not just beauty queens but people who are involved in Q&A. Marami sa kanila hindi tama ang sagot but they sounded right. That's very important. That's very important in pageantry. Meron kasi 'di ba in 30 seconds what can you say? Halimbawa Miss who was the first one to answer, Dominican Republic ba or the winner Mexico for example?
Mexico.
Sumabit lang ang isang word. Ang isang word sige na kasi nagpro-process ka eh. You wanna go into the questions mabilisan lamang because I know we have a lot of people. We have 13,500 people watching us right now. Maraming salamat po. Ibigay na natin ito. Like for example, I have the transcript kasi. Miss Mexico, if you were the leader of your country, how would you have handled the COVID-19 pandemic? Ako tama lang yung sagot niya, pero a lot of people were saying, ay, hindi niya sinagot. Hindi. All she wanted to say was, ang kanyang sagot kasi, I believe there is no perfect way to handle. Pag ganito ang sagot, I believe there is no perfect way to handle this side. She's buying time. She's buying time. That's a platitude. That's a general statement. I believe there is no perfect way to handle that, blah, blah, blah. But I believe what I would have done is to create the lockdown even before everything was that big. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure Ms. Mexico actually is very familiar with what's happening in the US. Okay?
Yeah.
I mean, that was a time when Trump didn't believe that COVID was fatal, etc., etc. So she answered it. Sinagot niya yung katanungan. Any comment? Diba? Sinagot niya. Na hindi man, we lost so many lives. We cannot afford that. We have to take care of our people. That's why I would have taken care of them since the beginning. Ang importante, and Kisses knows this when I teach my public speaking classes, end strong. End strong. Sound right.
yes.
Okay? That's very important. Sound right. Go ahead, Ameer. You want to say something?
Yeah. Actually, Tito Boy, tama naman si Mexico sa sagot niya. The thing is, nakitaan lang siya na parang walang yung conviction, parang hindi mo nakita kagaya ni siguro si Dominican Republic ba yun na parang kahit na medyo hindi okay yung sagot pero yung conviction niya kasi yung confidence niya nandun, you sounded right. Parang ganun yung sinasabi niya eh.
Yun yung sinasabi natin. Thank you. Kaya karamihan ng mga contestants, they usually ended with a very strong line. Mm-hmm.
Tama naman siya sa sagot.
Not everyone is a Kylie Verzosa. Miss India, ang tanong ay, should countries lock down due to COVID, Kisses, if you want to comment, to COVID-19, despite the strain on their economies, or should they open the borders and risk a potential increase in infection rates? Ang sagot ni Miss India, good evening universe. Pag mga ganyan, good evening universe, buying time yan. And that's natural. That's okay. Coming from India, she was going into a good direction. Sabi ko, ay, baka she's going to own, the story. and witnessing what India is experiencing right now, I've realized something very important, that nothing is more important than the health of your loved ones. Sabi ko, ba't napunta sa loved ones? You may have to draw a balance between economy and health, which is right, the balance between economy and health. And that can only happen when the government works with the people hand in hand and produces something that will work with the economy. All she wanted to say was, government and the people should work together. Pero sa kabanyan, sa ikli ng panahon, it's very difficult. Yung phraseology nun is very difficult. Pero may sense. Akala ko pupuntahan niya yung tragedy eh. Akala ko magiging emotional si Miss India. That's why it's important to know your core. Go to your story. With what happened in my country, wow, sabi ko, it's gonna go there. What happened in your country, Iha? Yes, she could have gone to the story. And what do you do? Kasi ito yung mga tanong na walang tama, walang mali eh. Walang tama, walang mali. The balancing between economy and health. You have any comment, Kylie? How Miss India handled it?
Tito, tama nga yung sinabi niyo with the way it sounds. Yung tinuturo din sa amin sa before Aces and Queens Q&A session, it's sound over substance. Parang yun yung parang
Right.
I don't fully believe in it dahil may weight talaga ang substance. Dahil wala naman ang sound kung wala ang substance. Pero it's sana lang yung pagsabi niya with stronger. Medyo nalamyaan lang ako with the way India, and I really thought also na she could have been Miss Universe, pero maybe the manner of the way she was saying it, the way she sounded really matters.
Okay. Kisses, ikaw, your comment on that.
Ako, Tito Boy, I like what you said about sounding right, about being true to your core, because it's true. There's no right and wrong answer, kasi everyone's coming from a different background, different life, and something that's true to you may not be true to me, to my experience. So it's all about just owning what you can say about that topic, not what you think the people will like, because it's you in there. You're like, this is me, and this is what I think. So whether or not you like it, this is true. This is what's true to me.
Alam nyo, Tita, Ameer, yung questions like this would be really, really strongly answered if you take a position. Like, I thought she was going to use
true.
India.
Yeah,
I thought she was going to
true
use the story of India. Nangingilabot ako ngayon, when I saw the photos, for example, of people, it started, of course, with that water thing when people, etc. But the number of people dying in my country, the people dying in my country, needs a strong leadership. And if I were a leader of India, one has got to give. At this moment, I'll go for a lockdown so that we avoid thousands and thousands of people dying, and then balance it with economic points at a certain point. But more attention should be given, because as a leader of my country, we cannot afford more deaths. We cannot afford more deaths. You have to own the story.
Tito
Anyway.
Boy, add ko lang din po sana doon, yung owning the story. Wag na po sana tayong lumayo with India. Kung ang tanong sa kanya is about lockdown and how she feels about it in terms of like, paano gagalaw yung ekonomiya, wag na tayo lumayo. Sitwasyon na lang niya. Nagka-COVID siya eh.
Correct.
Paano siya nakagalaw nun?
Right.
Doon na lang
Right.
sana niya hinugutin. Nasaan ako? Paano yung mga pera ko? Paano yung finances ko? Yung parang doon sana niya inikot,
Tita?
kasi mas relatable sa atin.
Excellent. Again, that's going to your core. So if the question is lockdown or opening, what is the question? Lockdown or it's a choice, or
Sa
opening
economy.
borders? Say lockdown. I'll be very personal. I had COVID. And to blah blah blah.
Lakas sana nun eh.
Yeah, lakas. It's a true story. Let's go to Brazil. Women are still considered incapable of becoming world leaders. Convince these countries that they are wrong. Napakaklaro nung tanong, no? Convince these countries that they are wrong. Ang sagot niya, Women are such an important part of the society, and just because we're not encouraged in the same way that men are, we have our potential ways of the world needs women's contributions because we came for some reason. And I invite every woman to understand that we're leaders of our own lives, and yes, we can do a lot for our communities. So please take your power. She ended very strong.
Yes.
But she didn't answer the question.
Answer the question.
Okay? Because the question
Pero
was
I was swayed.
Yeah,
I was
but,
convinced.
the last
It was
line was,
sound.
please
right.
take your power.
It was the sound, though.
Sounded right, diba? Ako, I would have handled this this question. I don't know if you can be adventurous in Q&A. Pero ito, Kylie, halimbawa, if the question is, women are still considered incapable of becoming world leaders. Convince these countries that they are wrong. Enumeration ka lang ng women leaders. Yun lang.
Tama,
Margaret
Sa New Zealand lang eh. Lalo na
Margaret
yung sa
Thatcher,
COVID.
Angela Merkel, Gloria Macapagal Arroyo,
tama.
Tsai Ing-wen of Taiwan, blah, 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 Hillary Clinton of Kamala Harris of the United States of America, etc., etc. Thank you. Wow, just enumeration of world leaders.
Lakas.
But you have to be really quick. You really have to be quick. See, Miss Brazil is the one, what is she? She is an engineer din, di ba? Hindi.
I think
She's a
Miss
model.
Actress in
Actress.
China.
China,
In
right.
China.
Most incredible award. Naalala ko, yeah. Okay. Dominican Republic. The night she won Miss Universe, Zozi Tsunzi explained the importance of teaching leadership to young girls. How would you do that as Miss Universe? Good night. Thank you for that question. Buying time again. I come from a family completely filled with women, of which have propelled me to help them today. Working with nonprofit niños, etc. Support them. Thank you. Hindi naman niya sinagot. How would you do that as Miss
Pero
Universe?
aura.
Pero maganda siya.
Nakaka-shokot siya ha.
True,
Diba?
Na-shokot ako ng slight.
Right.
Actually, nakakatakot talaga.
Kung hindi lang
Okay.
siya pumali
During the pageant.
pa rin.
Yeah, I understand that, and I don't need a title to help others and to be able to support them. Thank you. Eh, ang tanong, how would you do that as Miss Universe?
Actually, Tito Boy, umaapaw talaga siya ng confidence. Yun.
Correct. Galing.
Doon dinaan na lang. Nasa ano naman, physikalan naman eh. Kitang-kita naman sa kanya.
Right. Ako naman, I wanted to address that, Kylie, na of course substance is very important. But remember, you are in a contest. You have 30 seconds to think. Kahit kaano ka kagaling, kahit kaano ka katalino, you can get lost. So, huhugot ka.
Tama.
Ang pinakamadaling hugot, kwento mo or daanin mo sa projection. Katulad nito, she ended it with, thank you. Wow, parang tamang-tama.
Diba? Tumaas na yung noo eh. Nagpanla.
Peru, what would you say to the women watching tonight who are currently experiencing sexual or domestic abuse? Ito swak siya. I will tell them that I admire their strength. Sinagot, what will you tell women? First line pa lang, hindi na bumili ng oras. I will tell them that I admire their strength and that they're survivors and that I've been there too. Pinersonal. I became the hero of my own story. That's why I advocate to save little girls. That's our advocacy from being victims. They're survivors. They're heroes. They have the power. And don't ever, wow, the art of repetition, make anyone silence your voice. Panalo yun.
Sobrang panalo, Tito Boy.
Panalo
Kaya malungkot sila. Talaga. Talaga yung ramdam ko yung level ng lungkot nila.
Talaga. Ako, I was expecting.
Tito Boy, 1950 something pa yung huli nila. Pumapasok sila halos every year.
Talaga?
And then,
Kasi pumasok
apart
sila
from the fact, Peru sila, Philippines tayo. For 11 years, palagi silang bridesmaid sa Philippines. Kasi Philippines yung palaging may... Kumbaga, magpe-Peru ka pa lang, humihiyaw na yung mga tao para sa Philippines.
Right.
So, naintindihan ko yung nakasakto sila ng kandidata ngayon eh. Magaling magsagot. Magaling yung ibang performance. Parang andun na eh. Eto na yun eh. Dekada na to eh.
Tita, one thing that cannot be denied, we have become a powerhouse. We have become a powerhouse.
Tito
Yes.
Boys, totoo po yan. From the
We
way
have
we
become-
manufacture the news to the way that we distribute information and maybe, I don't know, spin some tales to either bring
Yeah.
someone up or hype someone up. Even, you
Yeah.
know what, even with Kylie as well, nung natapos si Kylie sa Rinia, ang sabi namin, Kylie International na to. Kasi ini-emulate na nila even the doll-like figure of Kylie, even the hairstyle, even some of the clothes of Kylie. So, nakikita, nag-aaway-away nga ho tayo with the Indonesians because we always feel na, you're taking stuff from us. Why aren't you crediting us? I mean, that's our gown, that's our ear cuff. So, grabe na rin tayo
at saka,
nitpick, actually.
Tita Ameer, totoo ba na ang training ng marami ay, marami, ng iba ay dito na sa atin? Like you said,
Dito
you
na
got
po.
Vietnam, trained here last year, and marami na rin?
Podia,
Yes, Tito
Podia
Boy.
po.
Yeah.
Oh,
Si Romania din. Romania, yung trainer niya is Pinoy.
El Salvador as well.
Actually,
What about
si
Nepal?
Nepal, hindi yata siya na. So actually, alam ko, ang Nepal is connected, parang si Sir Jonas yata, parang connected sa organization.
Creative director nila.
Yes.
Even
but
with
the thing
Singapore.
But the thing is, hindi natuloy yung training niya dito. Kasi we asked her about her training supposed to be here in Philippines with Aces and Queens. But the thing is, hindi natuloy because of the
Hindi
pandemic.
natuloy.
Pero most of the training, Tito Boy, kahit na may mga online training din ng mga Pilipino nagtuturo online. Like Cambodia, sabi nga ni Tita. Si Romania,
Hoy,
online
even,
training.
as far as Malta as well, no?
Wow.
Malta.
Yes, Tito Boy.
Galing. No, but I'll tell you something, because our executive producer for the Boy Abunda Talk channel, Apples, you're there, I know you're listening. Right after we did tayo, yung ginawa natin yung Kachiyona on air, yung Q&A on air, remember?
Yes.
Pero we don't have the document kasi we had a number of countries calling us if we could do one similar to that episode on air with their contestants. But of course we said yes. Ang ABS. This was 2018, right? Just before Kat left. Ganun sila ka-interesado sa atin na can you do a training on, let's say, this country, I don't want to name the countries, live television, and you can also train our contestants. Sabi ni Apples, we cannot because we are with this channel, etc. But nakakatuwa lang, yung interest na at tiwala na ibinibigay ng ibang bayan sa atin is a testament that we have become a major powerhouse.
Yes.
Guys, maraming salamat. God, I had so much fun. We are number 1 top trending topics on Twitter and number 10 worldwide.
Wow.
Thank you to your followers.
I learned so much from all of you. Thank you so much. What a
Kisses,
productive night. I will never
mag-join ka na.
Okay,
Oh,
this is
Tito
Tito
Boy.
Amir.
Mag-join ka na. Magpaturo ka na kay Tito Boy, Q&A.
No, magpaturo ka kina Amir.
Sobrang kayang-kaya mo yan,
Magpabulong ka na. Kisses, magpabulong ka na. Paano ba yung chismis sa project?
Kisses, if you were to join, anong sasalihan mo? Binibining Pilipinas or
Ako,
MUP?
makakapapok si Kylie.
Oh my goodness.
Siyempre, I wanna know.
Meron pang Miss World.
May
Ever
Miss World.
Miss
May
World,
Earth pa.
Miss World.
Yes, Miss
May
World.
Earth pa.
Ay, may Earth.
Well, Ate Kylie, ever since maliit pa ako, syempre I love Miss Universe, but let's see. I'm so excited to learn and just explore. Kasi I feel like beauty pageants are more about showing what you can do as a woman, and I want to do that first before joining a beauty pageant. I want to make something of myself so that my country will be proud of me when I do represent my country.
That's sounding strong.
Yun na yun.
Ready na siya, Tito Boy.
Crown.
Koronahan niyo na yan.
Ito na
Huwag
may
yan na
kwentuhan
antayin
lang.
yan.
Kylie, kwentuhan lang. There was a group of people in this country who felt very strongly, and this is not to diminish the victory of who was our Miss Universe during your time? Maxine, our favorite Maxine. Okay, but there was a group of people in this country who felt you should have gone for Miss Universe. We haven't talked about it actually on air, but how did that feel?
I feel so flattered, Tito Boy. I feel so honored that you guys think that way. But as I said before, everything really happens for a reason. And whatever I felt during that time, dun ko na lang siya binato dun sa pageant ko in Miss International.
Oo.
That gave me more drive even to win the crown.
Yeah, and also Maxine was a strong candidate. She was a strong candidate. She had I mean she did her best also. Pero
Tama lang
you're
yun,
aware of
Tito
that, no?
Boy.
Marami kang Tita, you're aware of that, no? Sa social media
Oo
during
nga
that
po,
time.
Tita Boy. At pero ang pinanghawakan din po kasi namin noon, fans and admins, we always try to look for ladies na bagay dun sa peg. Kahit na i-push ni Kylie, I wanna fight for the universe.
Tama.
Wala siya magagawa nun, Tito Boy. Perfect talaga po siya sa international. Doon tayo winnable.
Nakasulat sa kanyang tanda sa mga bituin, ika nga.
If it is written in your stars.
Yes, written in the stars. That's right. Let's do our final statements, Ameer. Talagang final statements,
Final-
parang Miss Universe.
Final statement.
Ameer,
Tito
please.
Okay, I just wanna say, Tito Boys, ako, sobrang happy naman ako sa performance ni Rabia. I mean, she did her best. Alam mo yun, ang ano ko lang talaga sana, sa mga fans na lang po, Tito Boy, na sana maging mature na tayo this time as a mga fans. Kasi sometimes, hindi natin alam kung ano yung totoong story ng candidate natin. Hindi rin natin alam kung ano yung totoong ano yung personality ng candidate natin, kung mabilis maapektuhan. Alam mo yun? So somehow, as a fan siguro, kailangan maging mature tayo. Iba kasi yung sinasabi na critics sa bashing. So therefore, iwasan natin yung bashing. Okay lang mag-critics tayo, pero yung bashing, intindihin natin, bawat isa sa atin may kanya-kanya tayong story sa buhay. And I believe talagang naapektuhan doon si Rabia. Sobrang naapektuhan siya because after that national costume, day after, nag-make upan siya, may video pa rin siya, tita, di ba? Na nagsasalita siya na kagabi, umiiyak ako, ganun. Habang minimake upan siya, Tito Boy. Kaya sa feeling ko, affected talaga siya. And somehow, instead na ipag-pray natin siya, ibinigyan natin siya ng parang burden. Alam mo, extra baggages. Sobra akong, actually, nasaktan ako and I was teary-eyed then, Tito Boy. Naiyak talaga ako sa nangyari. Although, sabi ko nga, ang ano talaga doon, dapat, nahirapan kasi Tito Boy kasi every time na magkaroon ng training, online lang siya. So talagang hawak-hawak niya yung cellphone. Hindi niya pwedeng itago, iwanan, or what. Kasi may mga instruction din siyang sinusundan or sinusunod, pinapakinggan. So yun, so for Rabia, alam ko, naging proud ang mga Pinoy para sa'yo. And yeah, continue lang kung ano yung mga pangarap mo sa buhay. And Tito Boy, I just want to say also to Kisses, si Kisses na lang po, ikaw na lang ang babago sa amin.
Ameer, alam mo, now when you're talking, I remembered, nung the day, kahapon, sabi ko, kung kilala ko lang ang batang ito, if I had because I haven't met Rabia, I'm just a fan. I'm just a beauty pageant, enthusiast. I would have called her. Just like if it were Pia or if it was Catriona or Rachel or Gazina, I would have called. Because I just wanted to tell her, relax, have fun. Pag may glitch ang gown, pag may glitch, enjoy, gamitin mo. You will be noticed. That becomes your brand equity. That becomes your brand. I just wanted to tell her that. But sabi ko nga kay Bong, paano kaya? How do we get in touch with Shamsi? I wanted to call Jonas. Alam mo, ganun tayo ka-involved. Ganun tayo because, ganun tayo ka-involved. Sige lang, maglaro ka na. Maglaro, givens na yan. But anyway, thank you. Let's go to you, Tita. Please, final state. You wanna add more? Amir, I'm sorry.
I just wanna say, Tito, alam ko na itong mga sinasabi natin na yung mag-enjoy siya, alam yan ni Rabia eh. Alam niya yan. Yung mag-enjoy siya, mag-focus lang siya. Pero talagang napasama lang talaga, yun, apektuhan talaga siya, sobra. Kaya doon ako nasaktan for her. Pero siguro, it was really for her. Ganun na lang talaga. Tanggapin na lang natin and move on. Let's move on.
Yeah. Salamat. At bago ko sabihin kay Tita, Tita is right. I love your point, Tita, about education. Kasi ang dami natin natutunan dito, incorporate natin sa susunod na training module, no? Kasi merong technique 'yan. Pag natataranta ka sa amin sa public speaking, may technique 'yan on how to focus on the now. Meron nga ngayon from a medical perspective, when you are going through grief, may tinatawag na anticipatory grief during COVID. Yung nag-worry tayo, baka magkasakit, baka mawala, baka hindi na ako, baka we always think of what's gonna happen that may never happen. So we anticipate the grief. Doctors, my doctor personally was saying, concentrate on the now. Identify 5 things that are in front of you, that are important and that make you happy. Andito ang nanay ko, andito ang partner ko, andito may pagkain kami. Change that perspective because, you might wonder, you can change your mind. You have that power. You can change your mindset instead of ganun. Anticipatory grief ang tama. So, when you are in a state where you're breaking down, you're about a meltdown, focus on the now. I mean, it's easier said than done, of course, but it should be part of the education. Tama ka, Tita, doon sa sinasabi mo na ang dami natin natutunan na incorporate natin sa susunod. Tita, your final statement.
Final statement, Tito Boy, marami pong salamat. Alam naman natin, hindi na natin pwedeng gawin yung regular na ginagawa natin. I had the chance to be a guest panelist during Gazini's time. Hindi ko rin naman akalain na magtutuloy-tuloy ngayon. So, part of Rabia's success as well is yung following ng mga Pilipino. Whether negative yan, umabot tayo sa puntong highlighted tayo for bullying or racism. But at the core of it, we are Filipino fans. We really tried to lift Rabia up. And maybe medyo rin yung brutal because some of us are more on the girl, gumising ka, etong mga mali mo. Some of us naman are more nurturing. But I'm just saying na lahat naman din tayo, meron tayong wishes for Rabia to do well. Kasi alam natin yung drive ng bata eh. And you know what, maybe sa pageantry, meron akong konting reputation for going against the grain. I just want to also take this opportunity to remind people that Rabia is a product of a new organization. So even if the people around the organization are seasoned pageant personalities, this is actually the first time that they are, training and handling someone na wala sa BPCI na ilang dekada na nandoon. So, these changes aren't always welcome changes. Sabi nga ng trainer ni Rabia, the stylist of Rabia, we have wardrobe and looks out there that you may or may not like. Ito yung na-come up nila. So, siguro ngayon, we look into the really positive points. Kasi wala na eh. Gasgas na-discuss na natin lahat ng mga negative points and what should have been done, hindi naman nagawa. So, back to the drawing table tayo. Even as pageant fans, even as admins, siguro we have to lessen the hostility with each other. Kasi at one point, Tito Boy, medyo naging hostile na tayo sa training program, sa photographers, dun sa mga fans, dun sa mga troll accounts, dun sa mga rival countries natin. So, yeah, more positivity siguro sa susunod.
No, more civility. I mean, we can do with a lot of civility, as someone said. Maraming salamat, Tita. Maraming salamat.
Maraming salamat.
Oo, maraming salamat. The power of 3. No joke.
Tito Boy, don't pressure me like that.
Your final statement, Kylie.
But thank you so much for having me here, Tito Boy. You mean so much to me and you are so dear to me. Thank you so much for having me. Ameer, Tita Lavinia, Kisses, ang dami ko natutunan ngayon. Sobrang love ko talaga yung point mo, Tita Lavinia, na kailangan, importante ang mental training dito sa pageantry. And as a past winner, we had to learn this ourselves eh. Parang, parang linagay na lang kami doon, bahala ka, this is what you figure out. And then, I think I heard this, pero I think your learning curve has to be quite fast and dapat marunong ka mag-pick up kaagad. And sabi naman ni Ameer, with regards to the social media, you're right, no? Rabia only had her phone and everything was there. It was quite probably difficult for her to turn up her social media. Diba? So nakita niya lahat. And ayun lang, I guess I really learned a lot from this. as a candidate naman, sobrang hirap talaga mag-compete, and
Yeah.
let's appreciate everything na the candidate has done for us, Rabia has done for us. Makita naman natin na she worked so hard, she gave everything para lang pasiyahin tayo, mga Pinoy. So, sana ma-appreciate natin. Yung kailangan talaga niya ngayon is yung support at yung pagmamahal na binigay niyo sa kanya nung unang-una, at yung tiwala na binigay niyo sa kanya. So, sana po pagtuloy-tuloy natin yung suporta sa kanya, at tuloy ang laban ng Pilipinas.
Raban, Raban,
Salamat,
Raban.
Kylie. O, di ba? Pero alam mo, Kylie, yung sinabi mo, totoo yan. Pero that's part of the life of a queen. You know, that's ancillary, or not even ancillary. That's really integral to the life of, you know, a beauty queen. Kisses, your final statement.
To join na siya, Tito
Boy,
Boy.
I have learned so much from you guys. I really appreciate it because in real life po, hindi naman po kayo nakakausap po talaga yung mga pageant experts because you're usually very busy. You're usually very busy. And nakikita ko lang sa Facebook yung Miss Miss Tita Lavinia. So thank you po. And I just want to say na I agree. I think that Rabia did so much. She put her heart in it.
Yes.
And it hit close to home po yung nag-breakdown po siya. Kasi I feel like totoo po talaga yung burnout eh. And we're just humans. I feel like I totally relate to that. Kasi I want to share na when I was maybe 3 years ago, there was so much for me to handle as a teenager. Kasi pag nalagay ka sa spotlight, everything is scrutinized to the point that hindi mo na alam kung what's positive about you. You feel like wala nang positive about you, but there always is. And yung makakakita lang nun is yung mga tao na totoong nagmamahal sa'yo from the start. And that's also, you have to remember that. You have to hold on to that. Kasi when you lose sight of the people that loves you, you lose sight of how you see yourself, you might not never make it. And I just want to say it's sobrang praise ko for Rabia because emotional breakdowns are the hardest. And yun, I feel like ngayon ko palang yun nalalearn in real life na you know how to separate that kahit na commodity ako dito, that this is how people see me and I need to perform. There's also a side of myself that's just for me. And I have imperfections and flaws, but I love that part of myself along with the other good parts of me. So if I am still on the process of learning that, but I hope na lahat ng girls din i-learn yun, na yung flaws mo, own it, that's yours. So thank you po sa lahat ng sinabi nyo. I learned so much and I hope to keep listening to your inspirational talks. Thank you so much, everyone.
Wow.
Salamat.
Pwede na, di ba?
Felt
Tita
Pwede
Lavinia,
na.
pwede na.
Huwag masyado sa page namin, maraming chismis dun. Huwag ka masyado magbabatun.
Kisses, hindi ko lang
Chika dun eh.
Lavinia mo.
No, ako, I'll take to heart. I'll take to heart that suggestion. Maganda talaga yung edukasyon. Ako, yung sa pamamagitan ng edukasyon, ang daming pwedeng mangyari. And we have to take this very seriously dahil, tingnan mo naman, I mean, this has become a national conversation. Ang akin lamang nais kong i-share, whatever you do, you can be a beauty queen, you can be a teacher, you can be, you know, a lawyer. Stay true to the core because that's a sacred space. That's where you commune with your God. That's a space where nobody invades. That's an impregnable space. That's where the whisper is. Kaya bahagi yun nung sinasabi nga natin ngayon na mental training, that at any point, you know, when it becomes too noisy, you retreat to that space within you that says, hey, you're in control. You're in control and you breathe. Tama ka, Kylie. You know, a lot of public speakers, before they go on stage, they breathe. You know, the best exercise is a breathing exercise. And you say, within me is my God. Kaya paborito ko talaga yan, yung I Come As One, na ginamit ni Kat actually in 2018. But she paraphrased that. I
Yeah.
don't come here as one. I stand as 104 million
4
Filipinos.
million Filipinos.
Yes, di ba? Ang strong. That's an
Ay,
Angelo
gawa
line.
ganon.
Oo. Na I am
May
courageous,
statistic.
I'm brave, I'm beautiful. So the core is very important, and I think that should really be mentored to a lot of our tenacity, mental, spiritual tenacity is very important. Pero kanina, ang tuwang-tuwa ako, one of the ad-libs of the three co-hosts, hindi ko lang alam, hindi ko maalala kung sinong nagsabi, when they were announcing the top 21, so my break every 7 and then 14, just before they went back, ang ad-lib nila, wait, what happens? Wala pang Peru, wala pang blank, wala pang Philippines. Wow. Which means that indeed we have become
Yes.
a powerhouse. We have become really power. And let's seize that, because it was not easy to get to where we are today. And I say thank you to all the organizers, to all, the beauty experts, to you, Tita Lavinia, Ameer, to Binibining Pilipinas, to Shamsi and company, to Jonas, to all of you, because everything that you did, the amalgamation of everything that you did made us who we are today in pageantry. Maraming, and it was not a job of one. It is not easy to be a queen. It is not easy to be a Rabia. But I will also enjoy the attention, because in the pageantry world, in the pageant world, we have become so powerful. We have become so powerful. And walang lalaban doon. Walang lalaban doon. Walang lalaban
Tita Boy,
doon.
may alam ako lalaban. Just.
Nasa taas lang po.
Nasa baba. Nasa
Oo, ma'am.
baba. Just
Alam
lang.
mo,
Nasa
that's
gilid.
Sa gilid ba?
Maraming
Ako,
salamat,
gusto ko
Kylie. Maraming salamat, Ameer. Maraming
Thank you
salamat,
po.
Tita Lavinia.
Maraming
Thank you, Tita
salamat.
Boy.
Maraming salamat. At sa lahat ng
Thank you so
tumutupo
much, Tita Boy.
sa aming pag-uusap, mabuhay po kayong lahat. And take good care of yourselves. Stay kind. Stay blessed. Live and love in abundance and make your nanay proud. And goodbye for now.
Salamat.
Thank you, Tito Boy.
Thank you so
Thank
much,
you
Tita
po.
Boy.
Thank you po.
Oo, salamat.
Thank you.
Salamat. Salamat. Sabi ko nga, tita, hindi pwedeng hindi natin gawin